What's up, everybody? Um, it's me, the etheric priest. I'm back with a video. I just really want to touch on something really quick. I want to talk about breastfeeding and baby formula. And the reason I wanted to talk about that because I was just talking to my children, and I was telling them, they was asking me some questions about, you know, breastfeeding and things like that. And then I started to tell them, hey, well, not all children are breastfed, and they don't really understand that concept. But I had to break it down for them. Then I was going to show them something that what children do drink if they not breastfed. Then I got to looking at the ingredients, and I was just like, okay, yeah, I need to put this out here right now. So the vision that came to mind is like the Egyptian hieroglyph of, or the painting or stone carving, the rendition of Isis suckling the baby Horus. And I think that that is what we should be doing, and not the formula. And I kind of went through and I just wanted to share some stuff with y'all. So I looked up the major corporations that produce baby milk. So we got Nestle, we got Danone. I don't even know if I'm saying, or Danone or Dan One, not sure. And then we have Reckitt. These are the top three corporations that produce baby milk or baby formula, and they do it under different brands. So, for instance, the one of the two major brands that Nestle produces, Gerber, now, and Aluma. So Gerber, this name Gerber like goes back to, it's a German name or a Swiss name, more German associated, and this means a person that tanned hide, or someone who treated and tended to animal hides. All right, and so you got this person with the name Gerber, whose family history, who created this, Dorothy Gerber, who created this, and their family history go back to a lot of people who dealt with hides, and so that means that they were probably had cattle. And so a lot of times when you are farming, or when you are being a rancher, someone who's doing these particular things, handling the animals, your goal is to use every single aspect of the animal in order to produce some type of good, or product. And so we could see a possible connection with that company ending up producing this baby formula, because they needed to add value, create added value in their production, and on the farm, and on the being ranchers, and to create new products from things that probably was getting wasted. They also create the brand Aluma, and the root word is illuminate. This means to lighten up or to make brighten. All right. And so we're talking about the Illuminatis, the enlightened ones who had the knowledge. Now this goes back to the German Bavarian sect, which was a sect of Illuminatis that got disbanded. And we know that things might start off with good intentions, but they often get corrupt. And they say power corrupts, but absolute power corrupts absolutely. So we can see how maybe this probably started off as an idea, but as we keep walking through these names, we're gonna see kind of what the idea is. It might start as a good idea, but what it actually end up coming to. Because today the Illuminati are a branch of the shadow government of elite people that's making unmoral decisions behind closed doors, but it's affecting everybody. All right, so then we got Donna. They the main brand they produce is Nutricia, which means she who nourishes. Now that word Nutricia is Latin, but it's close to nutricide, But let's just say that it means what it originally means in Latin, which is she who nurtures. But then we're going along with the agenda. Here's the agenda. The agenda is to replace the woman, she who nurtures, with something that's artificial or man-made. Because think about it. We don't say it's woman-made. Why don't we ever say things are woman-made? And I get it. You can easily explain that way. Oh, we are mankind, not womankind. But that's the patriarchal system that created these terminologies. So, we got something that says that means she who nourishes, but it's actually a man-made product that goes along with the agenda and the movement to actually replace women in society. It's been a long-term patriarchal agenda, which ties into the LGBTQ agenda. All right, so that's their brand, and then we got Reckitt. Now it's spelled Reckitt. I don't even like that. When wreck it, that means you're gonna wreck or destroy something. As soon as I think about this brand Reckitt, that actually plug up my laptop before I go dead. As soon as I think about this brand Reckitt, I'm thinking about Wreck-It Ralph. And in Wreck-It Ralph, this was, someone who did not want to accept their place in reality, so they decided to do something different. They didn't want to accept their place, which is kind of going back to the patriarchal movement, that they didn't want to accept their role in reality as being men. And not accepting the role could be a good thing or a bad thing, because what if your role is something that's not connected to your higher calling and your true purpose? Well, then you might want to escape that. But if you were created to be the provider, the man, but you want to be the she who nourishes, then we have a problem. And this goes back into the concept of man trying to replace women. And when you look at their brand, Reckitt is the corporation, but their brand Similac, Enfamil, Similac are the two major ones, but we get Similac, and we already hear that word. It's called Abbott's Similac, a Similac similar to lactation. And so we get Abbott. Abbott means the father. So this really means the father's milk or something, the father's similar lactation to the mother. And that, once again, replacing the woman. We shouldn't have Abbott's, the father's milk. Milk doesn't come from a father, but this once again go back to this patriarchal movement of trying to replace women and men not accepting their roles in society. So moving on from that, a lot of times the main reasons that women choose to may not breastfeed is either one, they do not prefer to, and that's induced by society, and what that leads to them going to get formula. Two, they might have to get back to work. This is inside induced, because society is fast paced. And so soon as the mother had a child, she's rushing back to work. So she's either gonna pump beforehand, or she's going to go and grab the baby formula. All right. Or three, the baby is not latching. This more of a bonding induced, and that normally leads to pumping or formula, because the baby might not latch, but it'll take the bottle. And then we have medical complications, and these are medically or health induced, and that leads to formula as well. But in reality, a lot of those things could be resolved. For instance, if society has made the woman not want to, breastfeed to some degree because number one, we dealing with women not even want to have babies because they not want to even, mess up their figure. And then we have, women being criticized for breastfeeding a child out in public, and so women don't want to breastfeed because it's almost looked down upon in society, and then but that can you don't have to let that aspect of society affect you. Women having to get back to work, that's one thing where you want to set yourself up beforehand to where that when you have a baby, you don't, or you're planning to, you want to make sure that you're going to be able to spend as much time as you need before and after, giving birth. All right, before, during the pregnancy, and after. The baby needs that time for bonding with the mother, and so you can plan ahead and plan accordingly. And then we got the aspect of not latching. I'll tell you now that one of our children, maybe one or two, wasn't latching. I found the key, and this is the key right here. If you might not agree with anything else, if your baby is not latching, all you have to do is take a probiotic and sprinkle it on the nipple. It will get the baby to latch. That's a trick I learned actually from Dr. Laila Africa. I was reading his book, and we was having problems with one of our first child latching, and went to the store, did it, got the probiotic, put it on the nipple, and the baby latched and was latching ever since. So that's just something, if you watching this video and you're a mother out there struggling with your baby latching, put some probiotic on your breast, and then if that baby starts latching, go ahead, come back and go ahead, put a like and subscribe on the video. And then if it's medically induced, there could be a lot of things. I mean, women need to truly, I don't think that society does enough of encouraging women or, pushing women to prepare their bodies for birth. To prepare your body for birth, you need to be taking the proper nutrients. If you're when medical complications, you might not be producing enough milk. There are herbs out there called galactagogues. If you go on my website, quintessentiallifeherbs.com, I actually have a product on there called Mother's Milk. It's called Mother's Milk, and I've given it to many mothers, and they reorder it and they praise it and say, wow, this got me just busting milk out. Mother's Milk. These are herbs called galactagogues that actually help the breast to produce more milks, and they work wonderful. So there's a solution to the breastfeeding right there. Latching, probiotic, not producing enough milk, Mother's Milk, galactagogues. Go to my website, quintessentiallifeherbs.com. And so lastly, I just wanted to quickly talk about some of the ingredients. All I did was just went online and looked at just random Enfamil, Similac, looked at it. Let's look at it. They have non-fat milk, lactose. Lactose is supposed to be abundantly in milk already, but they add more lactose. They got vegetable oils like palm, olein, or coconut, or soy, or high olenic sunflower seed oil to a baby. No. The whey protein, a waste product from a cow. Whey protein came by way of a waste product. After they're done processing the milk, they have these little bits over, and they process them some more and turn it into whey. Then they got a bunch of chemicals. I mean, most of this stuff the parents can't even pronounce. I can't even pronounce. I mean, fucosylictose, galacto-oligosaccharides, polydextrose, merteriella alpina, cistrum. We don't know what this is. We get some calcium carbonate, calcium phosphate, cupric phosphate, ferrous sulfate, magnesium oxide, a whole bunch of minerals that the baby's not supposed to be taking in anything hard. That's why it's supposed to be drinking milk, because the milk itself is actually a liquid, and everything is in liquid form. These minerals: zinc sulfate, sodium selenite, sodium chloride, potassium iodide, potassium citrate, potassium chloride, manganese sulfate, magnesium oxide. Soy lecithin, soy, zinc, choline chloride, inositol, ascorbic acid, biotin, calcium, calcium panthenate, folic acid, all your B vitamins, niacinamide, riboflavin, 12, 6, vitamin D3, K1, vitamin E, A, taurine. But you know what they have in there? Human's milk. Human milk is in the baby formula. I think if anything else could be a red flag, I don't, in my mind, I just can't comprehend purposely feeding my child another human's milk. That contributes to the child's development, gene expression, gene expression, development. It can lead to diseases that your child, wasn't supposed to express, because you have to understand when it comes, like, this just a quick tidbit. When it comes to like some things that they say is hereditary, well, you have to remember that some of these things are hereditary because they're environment based. Even if there's a gene for it, really, how do genes express themselves? Meaning, okay, you might have some children, maybe some of them got some brown in their hair and some of them don't. So maybe some of them have, blue eyes, green, whatever, black eyes, brown eyes. Some of them, you got some type of illness. Why isn't that gene expressing in all the children? That's because gene expression has something to do with the environment as well. A lot of times, the way that you were growing up, that's the way that you live, and then you teach your children as well. Normally, people that don't have that gene expression, they deviated away from the environment and the habits at some point, and so the gene didn't express. But I just want to share this information real quick. I really think that babies should be suckling. The science is out there. They should be getting the natural milk from the mother, because this is what's going to create the advanced beings that's not so easily, controlled by the illusion. Because you're getting all these chemicals in here that's from a laboratory. You have to understand that they're taking this formula and they mixing this powder, that powder, this powder, that powder, all these different powders in that, just all of it is lab. So we have laboratory babies, and so then these babies come out ready and conditioned to take on the laboratory foods, because those things might not be conducive for a child that didn't go ahead and get that particular formula when it was a baby. So once again, I hope the video is, do like ISIS, don't get the Enfamil, and of course there are other things you could do to make your own natural, baby formula at home. And if you guys are interested in that, leave some comments and maybe I can come through and actually make a video about that. So I hope that y'all found something interesting in this video. But once again, extreme alert, advanced level knowledge is coming for the 5 elements. You don't want to miss this, because if you're a person that is tapped into spirituality, is tapped into energy, chi, prana, chakras, elevation, ascension, those type of things, you like Tai Chi, you like to work with the elements. Nature is what we call it, okay? Because we go from the infinite to the atoms to the elements, molecules, and these elements create, plants, and then plants, animals, you know what I'm saying? And so there's a connection here. Everything is connected here. But I'm going in on the 5 elements. I'm going to be releasing advanced level of knowledge compiling it all together and presenting it. And if you want to get that video, please stay tuned. Like this video, subscribe, put the notifications on so you could be notified when that video comes out. You could tap in, and this will get you leveled up and ready to start interacting with the elements. So I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Peace and love, and I'll see y'all on the next one.